From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Ants Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
All right, so a quick programming note. I want you to know that in the morning and Coffee with Kruger, so the morning updates, I'm going to have that deep dive, latest look at the fires, perimeters, all that, distances from communities, especially with the big fires. As we go into the noon hour and even into the evening, I'm typically not going to talk a whole lot about the current fires. Now, the only exception to that will be is if we see a big explosion of fires and there's this massive outbreak and it's a big, big deal. However, the main updates during just kind of the regular fire season is going to be mainly in the morning hours. Now, if you during the day and even in the evening want to check out the latest conditions for the fires, I've made it really easy for you. Just go to weathernorcal.com and click right there. So it says fire danger, click right there. That'll take you to the fire map, or the fire page that is. That's going to take you to watch duty. You can click on and get very interactive with the fire you're looking for acreage, as far as the amount of containment, all of that, the latest updates coming in. That's where I get most of my information from, is from Watch Duty, and then I report that to you. So you can go directly to the source right there. Also, there are other great resources on the fire danger web page that I'd like you to check out. So just go to weathernorcal.com and you can get all that information right there. All right, so there's going to be some minor relief from the heat today. In fact, we're going to break the 6-day stretch of 110 plus degree temperatures. Let's say that again. We're going to break the 6-day stretch that we've seen 110 degrees or higher consecutively. Today, we're going to drop below 110 degrees for everyone pretty much in the valley. But after today, we're going back up again, back to 110 plus for many of us in the valley. We're also looking at hot and dry conditions, which will keep that fire danger elevated. And now we've got to be concerned about the potential for thunderstorms in the mountains, which could mean dry lightning. More on that here in just a second. Here's your neighborhood forecast at a glance for today. There it is. It's below 110 degrees here for the valley, but still nice and cool along the coast, with highs only reaching the low 60s. Still kind of hovering around that 100 degree mark for most of us in the mountains in Trinity County. Of course, higher there, over 100 degrees, 105 degrees even. So the smoke forecast, what we're seeing here, there are basically two main areas that are producing most of the smoke. That's the Shelley fire and the fire in southern Oregon. There's also a fire just in northern Mendocino County that's producing a little bit of smoke as well, could have an impact, but the biggest impact will be from these two fires here. So as we go to 5 p.m., there you can see Scott Valley really getting hit hard with some of that smoke, making its way into places like around Weed and maybe even Mount Shasta, getting some of that smoke. And then smoke that is coming in from the Southern Oregon fire does work its way down into Modoc County later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. You may even smell some smoke, but it'll probably be in the form of some haze. And then there you can see it kind of works its way southward into Trinity County. That's, of course, coming in from the Shelley fire. Still not much coming into the valley or even some of those surrounding foothills and mountains around the valley. Now, as we go to 3 p.m. on Wednesday, we're beginning to possibly see a little bit more haze working its way southward, especially into the north end of the valley. And then as we go into your Wednesday night, again, maybe some more of that haze and possibly even a little bit of smoke working its way into the north end of the valley as well. There's a Southern Oregon fire producing more smoke for eastern Siskiyou County and into Modoc County as well. Now the winds, now this is something, we're not looking at a major wind events, but my main concern is this, is that when we see winds of 15 to 20 miles per hour or even a little bit higher, not enough to be considered a wind event or to really, cause a ton of concern, I always tend to err on the side of caution when we start getting in the 15 to 20 mile an hour range. So you can see today at 6 p.m., we're seeing those winds. They're picking back up, a little breezy at times. So really, we're looking at off and on breezy conditions. The winds calm down for the most part overnight in the early morning hours, and then they pick up through the afternoon. Doesn't look like it's going to be quite as bad, though, for your Wednesday. And there, taking you your Thursday, once again, we go into the afternoon. Those strong southerly winds, 15 to 20 miles per hour, and not to mention off to the east as well. By the way, still seeing that north wind at about 15 to close to 20 miles per hour along the coast. So the fire weather risk is mainly for the valley, and the trend that I'm seeing and have seen for the last week or so is mainly for central Siskiyou County, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, where we're getting in that moderate to high range, okay? Not as bad for Trinity County. And there's a reason for that. The wind's not as strong there. And number two, even western Siskiyou County has slightly higher relative humidity levels. And as a result, the fire danger isn't quite as high there, but still high for the valley, still high for central Siskiyou County, and not to mention off towards Modoc County and Lassen County as well. That will continue into Thursday. In fact, it looks like it gets even higher, getting into the kind of the barely within that extreme range for parts of the valley. High for central Siskiyou County, of course, Shasta Valley, and Modoc and Lassen counties. But again, you're noticing we're not seeing as high a fire danger as we go into Trinity County, western Siskiyou County. So the big ridge of high pressure is responsible for the heat that we're seeing. Everyone feeling that impact of that is pretty much the entire western United States. Most of these advisories and warnings go through this Friday. So this heat is going to stick around for a while. And why is that? Well, the main ridge of high pressure that is responsible for our heat wave has moved down to the south. We're seeing a break from that heat as a result. But watch what happens. As we go into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you see how that ridge kind of expands north-northeastward. So the main dome of heat is right here. We're on the outer perimeter of that, but it's still, as this builds and gets stronger, that's when our temperatures continue to increase. So it moved down to the south, it weakened. We're going to see temperatures drop a little bit today, still hot though, right? Then this will move north-northeast over the next several days and expand, grow, and get larger and stronger. Our temperatures increase as a result for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But look at this right here. See, I got the word warm here. This is what we call a trough of low pressure. This is what's going to help to break down at this ridge of high pressure as we go into Saturday, and in particular Sunday through next week. You see how it's kind of just even trying to dig to the south here a little bit. What that's doing is just pushing that heat, not only pushing that heat to our east, but also breaking down that ridge of high pressure, and this will allow our temperatures to begin to drop as well. Now, one of the things that we've got to watch too is the flow going around that area of high pressure. That could reintroduce some monsoon moisture for parts of Northern California. We'll get into that here in just a second. But let's take now a look at the coast. We're probably going to see some of that fog burning off later on this afternoon, coming back tomorrow morning, especially around Humboldt Bay along Highway 101 as well. So maybe north of Garberville, you start seeing some of that fog to start off the day. Now, you can see as we go into Wednesday afternoon, that fog stays fairly persistent, but looks like a little bit better along the coast of, say, around Del Norte County. Meanwhile, I'm talking about that monsoon moisture. See how it's working in as we go into Saturday. This is where most of the monsoon moisture is, and these are thunderstorms developing. It's typical this time of the year for the desert Southwest to see those thunderstorms. Every once in a while, we get that flow around that area of high pressure, and that helps to bring in some of that monsoon moisture. So you'll see Nevada, even eastern Oregon into Idaho is seeing those chances for thunderstorms. And that's all from the monsoon moisture, the flow around that low. This is uncomfortably close to Northern California. So as we go into Saturday, and really even through next week, look at Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We still have some of that monsoon moisture just skirting, edging right into Northern California. This is when I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week, there's the potential that some of that could work its way into, say, Modoc County, eastern Lassen County. Not guaranteed yet, but it's a pattern that I'm watching very closely. Because the last thing we want to start talking about is dry lightning, right? But it's a potential. It's a possibility starting this weekend and going into early next week. Something I'll be watching very closely. I wanted to show you this kind of interesting because I've been talking about it the last week. So on July 3rd, that's when we started to see those temperatures climb up to 110 degrees, okay? So 110 degrees or higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's when we made that all-time high officially, not based off your memory, but officially. So that's 4, 5, 6 days. So 6 consecutive days of 110 plus degree temperatures since yesterday. That actually ties the record of 6 straight days of 110 plus. And that was set twice since the records have been taken in Reading since 1893. Now, when we look at the forecast for today, Tuesday, look what happens. Reading is below 110 degrees. This means we're breaking that stretch, and that means we will not break the stretch of 6 days of 110 plus degree temperatures. However, when you look at the 7-day outlook for the valley, we're dropping below 110 degrees today, but we're back up to 110 for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that means we're breaking the stretch, but then we got another stretch of 3 days. So if we were to see 110 degrees today, and it's still not entirely out of the question, but it's looking more and more promising that it may not happen. But if we were to indeed get up to 110 degrees today, then we're going to break records, right? Because now we're talking day 7, 8, 9, and a 10-day stretch if that were to happen. Meanwhile, of course, you're seeing the same trend. Temperatures do start to drop, especially for the second half of the weekend, early next week. The coast, obviously, not seeing that trend, mainly in the mid-60s, give or take. Inland, you're seeing that trend as well, not to mention Weaverville. It drops by Sunday and Monday. That's the case for Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains as well. In fact, you can see for Mount Shasta, we're down to the low 90s by Sunday, Monday, and looks like in the mid-90s for Modoc County and the Eastern Mountains.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.